Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase. So I've been looking around the factory a little bit, and in a way it would seem that what we did last episode in building this facility may have been premature or even slightly incorrect in terms of perhaps what we should have been building. This factory, if you recall, was a 6K science per minute as vanilla science with 6 rocket launches per minute, and obviously we've had to allow a certain amount of flexibility in what gets built so that we can try and do SpaceX, but perhaps we haven't actually allowed enough flexibility. If we look at the outstanding requests, there's a bunch of blue science which actually it looks like I'm slowly getting on top of, which makes sense because once they get delivered they probably don't need anything for half an hour or so. But you can see the sheer number of red circuits in plastic, P's being the plastic, that are appearing in this list. And the red circuits are probably there mainly due to the plastic shortages, and that of course feeds into the blue science as well. I think we have even had to slow down science slightly. Yeah, we're only doing 10k now instead of 12k per minute, and that is largely because blue science has really collapsed in its production due to shortages. And I think if we go over to the blue science stack, what are we short of? That has red circuits there. What about down here? We have a handful of red circuits for about we have iron in there at the moment, but 2.1k. I would think that is going to run out fairly quickly. What do we have here? None of those are red circuits. We're not actually ordering more because we have 3 trains on the way. Well, that will be one of the trains that was on the way. So there is some red circuits on the way. So it's not all doom and gloom. In fact, blue is probably picked back up to, yeah, it's picked right back up. So it's hard to analyze exactly what's causing the problem, but certainly having plastic so stressed is an issue. Now, the reason plastic gets so stressed is if we come over here to this one. This is our rocket fuel plant. You can see there's a whole bunch of rocket fuel trains lined up here. I'm actually even going to check the load. This one should actually have a rocket fuel west weight in it. Let's just fix that up. Rocket fuel west weight for circuit condition there. But if you have a look, these are full, but there's no demand to take off from its supply, so light oil is just sitting at maximum. All of these are full. Heavy is all converted to light, so there's no room for heavy to convert anymore. The petroleum is all used up, making plastic, but we are not converting any of the light here to petroleum because we've always assumed that we'd need it all for rocket fuel, which we do when we're in a full launch profile. So the same is true basically for this entire facility. We're not building any plastic. Here we have plastic trains lined up waiting to get filled up, and it's just not happening. So we really need to get some launches happening. What have we got going on here? So this is periodically working We're now up to 24,000 of the efficiency modules of the 40,000 that we need to launch our first stuff off. You can see it was red circuits that was holding everything up as well. It may be that, you know, I want to keep the tech ticking over. It may be that while we still have these things outstanding, that one especially because of the sheer number of products that it uses, that is the one that we're doing at the moment, isn't it? Yes, it is. And the other one, the Spaceship Command, is fairly expensive in terms of total numbers of units. Just so these can resume the 12,000 per minute, it might be a good idea to actually choke the creation of these level 3 modules until we get through to the faster than light drive. I probably should check out what's going on here. This is still building. We've only got 3.9 thousand of the speed modules, so I guess that's going to keep building for some time, unless I choke that as well. Except it is 3.9 thousand plus whatever's in there, plus the fact that we actually have a full train out here with 16,000. So these things are 400 modules each, which is 2,400, which is more than enough to fill this twice. So the level 3 speed modules are very close to being where they need to be. They are both still being manufactured when they get supplied at over 200 per minute, but that uses a hell of a lot of red circuits. So yeah, I think what we need to do, guys, is introduce a choking mechanism on all of these circuits. In fact, that even might be something that I have here, but let's go and investigate what we've got here in speed module 3, and then probably fix it up so that at most we get to about 40,000, perhaps even choke it sooner, and then introduce something to, in fact I probably want to choke them right now, choke this one off and fix up what it's doing here so that it actually requests instead of requesting, which is very easy, it's just a quick change to this constant combinator, but instead of continuously building more, well, instead of this being completely empty, just, you know, get it filled up properly. So that's what we're going to do instead of, well, this is actually stopped anyway, but instead of deploying our better, more efficient fuel cells when we need to use their base resource, we are going to run over here and do some other things first, basically. We'll need to get back to space launches before that makes any sense. So, let's head for, there should be a hashtag speed module. Yeah, hashtag speed M. It may well be in this list. In fact, it probably is. There it is. Let's go. Sort that out. So, I mean, even though science, because of the plastic shortages, has dropped off slightly, we're still about to complete life support systems, leaving only those two items left. We can also look at, so this is turning over quite nicely now in preference to here, which is good. So we are getting more iron through to the rest of the factory, I think, which is why the total list of iron, by looking at the odd numbers in there, is iron. There's still a fair bit. There's a little bit of copper actually creeping in now, but it's mainly the iron. So that has improved over what it was. Well, given there's 31 trains for the plates here, it's kind of amazing to have none lining up here. Them all out. Where are we? We are heading down on the final little stretch into here. And we will soon be able to check out our speed module choke and make it a little bit more aggressive to choke these modules before they choke us. And another little area that probably needs some paths, but never mind. It's really not that far, I suppose. That's what I keep telling myself. So let's just have a look. I think this is the mechanism for choking. It adds a P signal based on these being 8,000. It reduces the P signal by 1. At the moment it is not doing anything, because outside of what's already here there is only 4,300. Oh, they've choked anyway because they're waiting for red. There's a P there, there's a P there, and it's minus there. Well, what I might just do is introduce a constant combinator with a P of value -1, and I'm just going to string a green to the front of this combinator, so that now we get an extra -P. Oh, and we've finished a tech. That's excellent news. I think that leaves only these two. I think we've got tons of steel at the moment. So let's do the fusion reactor. It also lets us start building the 1600 portable fusion reactors we need per fusion reactor that we need, and we need 25 fusion reactors. So yeah, 1600 of those. Remember, they require 250. So that's P1. This should be cancelled by that. Let me just check something. If I turn that off, it's not telling me what it's getting. There's a train on the way. Let me just see what this is again. So that's red divided by -64,000 and 1 plus. There is no red, so that should just be 1p. I think this might not be working right, and that I actually need it to go like that. directly to there. Yes, that does seem to be the case. That's better. Unfortunately, we did order that lot, but we are ordering nothing more. Alright, that's fine. So, let's go and do something now to the other modules. Choke them as well. Hashtag GC1 I think is the closest location. So yes, we'll head up here and head over here. With a bit of luck, this will shut down very soon. No, not that one. That one needs to keep producing. It's this one down here that we want to have shut down very soon. So concerned. Well, I should actually be concerned about these, but they're not going to matter if these others are not supplied. So we should, it should all shut down fairly soon, regardless. So it's red, blue, speed module 1s, and green that get supplied here. We only have our shutdown mechanic on the red, the blue, and the green, not the speed module 1s. But it looks like there is now no blue here, so these guys have shut down because they don't individually. Well, that's actually no, that's probably not full. $42. Why wouldn't that be enough? Oh, because it's actually the speed module 2s where it's choked. Yeah, that's interesting. Speed module 2s have completely run out. And that stopped production of speed module 1s. Or speed module 3s rather. Which is great. Now, let's run over here. It looks like we've got a number of deliveries happening right now, which is perhaps not so great. Why are these guys running after me? So yeah, we're getting the level 3 modules building up again. This is completely pointless, clearly. That needs to be a speed module 3, but even more so. Well, let's fix up this fairly silly thing here for starters. That needs to be 400 of those. So now these will request the level 3 modules and they'll fill up pretty... Oh, wrong ones again. It needs to be 400 of these silly green ones, which I keep forgetting. There we go. So these will all fill up fairly quickly, so our tally will quickly drop from 22,000 down to about 6,000 or thereabouts. Which actually isn't too far off triggering this, but is that connected to the right things? It looks like it is. But it's not generating a -1 yet. 15, 14, it should be. Oh, of course, because it's not blue, it's those. At this point it is generating a -1. We've got 2 there. Let me just tone that back. So, it's dropped below the 8,000 threshold, so we could let this keep building to 8,000, but I think I would actually like to do the same thing we did with blue circuits and add an additional -P to the equation. So it turns off these demands. It probably means that there's still deliveries coming here. Efficiency module red, efficiency module blue, but once they're cleared, there shouldn't be additional demand coming here, and it will shut down and hopefully restore our ability to do science at 12,000 per minute. We are on 10, it looks like we've actually gone slightly below 10 over 10 minutes. It's still pretty good science though. Let's see how we are actually doing, because this science is the one that uses, well, everything except the space science, which means military science has probably had to kick off again. Although there's pretty good numbers of the science there. In fact, we need 384,000. We have 230 there, plus whatever is stored in each of these. Well, that's one that's shut down because of lack of blue. It's interesting that it's not purple anymore, it's blue. 17,000 there. 15,000 there, 30,000, 14,000, 15,000, 15,000, 31,000. So 384 it was, wasn't it? 384,000. If we took 384,000 and just divided it by the 8 stacks that we've got, that's 48,000. So all of them are going to need to be topped up. But we're not going to need to keep building military science forever and ever. That's purple. Strange actually seeing purple sitting there. What's this? Blue. I'm imagining it's going to take off immediately. Probably to Science East 1. Indeed, yes, and that's dropped off. So, yeah, I would like to have thought that blue is getting on top of it, but clearly it's not. There's a purple there. Why is that still there? Yeah, it shouldn't have been. So there's a couple of little glitches in my mod as well, like that one for example, that I need to spend a bit of time to ironing out, as well as I sort of alluded to, the efficiencies around reading the resource ID and improving the whole efficiency of this process so that it's less than the 0.2 going up to about 0.3 sometimes on the microseconds in each update. So, but that's not really something I want to do in the middle of a playthrough at this point. Imagine if I destroyed all my data and couldn't carry on. It would kind of be a little bit devastating given the amount of time spent so far to get to this point. So yeah, we'll put up with minor inconveniences in the mod and fix them up between playthroughs. So Yellow Science does not look like it's running at full whack at this point. I guess not surprisingly, it's also very low on blue, so it's probably in here somewhere. Yellow Science, there you go. Might even exist again. No, just the once. But there you have it. We should have started reducing all of the module build, although do we have trains on the way? We do have a train on the way there. We don't there. Do we have any blues left? We do. Any trains on the way there? No, but we have green. So this should be the end of red circuit deliveries for now. It'll give us a little bit more of a nudge. So we've got 16? No. 6 by 400. By 8. There's 19,200 here, plus another 6.6 thousand, level 3. We're building some more, so we're up to 25, going on 26. It's not enough for the 40, but yeah, we can't afford to keep bringing the red out here. 1, 2, 3. So now that we've cut off blue and we have cut off red, we do look like we're catching up a bit, although we're still massively behind in plastic. I'm not really sure what else to do this episode, to be honest. The other thing that we can do, I guess, is build out the facility for the dry dock structure component. I'm kind of thinking I might put it in here because we've got the space, we're not using it for anything else. It's a pretty simple little build, but resolving plastic and red was more my point for this episode. And unless I decide to reverse engineer a little bit and translate the unused light oil when we're not doing launches or using rocket fuel to the degree that we were, really there's not much else we can do other than run at a slightly suboptimal plastic for these intervals when we're not doing launches. But I mean, there are a lot of launches to do. That only shows sort of 300 of the launches that we need. Of course, there's also a very heavy plastic demand, so I'm not entirely sure that building extra handling for the light is a bad idea. In fact, it's probably a good idea. That's topping up, which is interesting. There's quite a lot of that. Well, this isn't actually a full 100% conversion either, although over time it can convert. Everything that it doesn't store in the tanks can be converted, so there is definitely a difference between these two facilities, but the last 30,000 or so plastic is supposed to come from this facility. You can see everything's just halted here. All of the oil is stacked up because there only are those 3 trains. These are all stacked up, and the plastic is, well, there's 2 trains trying to get filled, but they're not getting very far. I mean, even a single additional conversion to petroleum would kind of help a little bit, I suppose. maybe that's something we can do. I'll think about it and get back to you guys. But I think that's enough for this one. This is our plastic woes while we are swapping from one task to another in the pursuit of extreme SpaceX in a decentralized factory. But there you have it. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. Bye bye for now.